and welcome to another episode of Cool Talks in the hot discussions in refrigeration and cold chain industry. This series of talks is brought to you by ISHRE, which is the Indian Society for Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers. And especially we are talking all these talks in the vertical of REFCOLD, which is our premier expo cum conference in the realm of refrigeration and cold chain. In this episode, we are very happy to have Mr. Asheesh Fotedar, who is the COO of NCCD. For our viewers, the NCCD is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and it is working in the domain of cold chain. It works primarily in developing cold chain and development of standards and scientific research and knowledge in development of cold chain and vertical. The role of NCCD in today's world of cold chain for India is encompassing a lot of variety of thoughts, and who better than Mr. Asheesh Fotedar himself to talk about NCCD and the India story. So welcome Mr. Asheesh. Thank you for being with us on this show.
Thank you Asheesh, and thank you ISHRE. I am delighted to be presenting the views on NCCD, and it gives me immense pleasure to talk to you in the present scenario of what is happening in the development of cold chain in India, and REFCOLD being Southeast Asia's largest exhibition. It is going to be of utter importance for the people and the stakeholders to know what NCCD is going to do and how NCCD is unfolding its new developmental plans in the development of cold chain in India.
Thank you, Asheesh. Really appreciate your efforts and time and courtesy. I would like to start this discussion today with how does NCCD sees the India story in terms of horticulture, cold chain, and India being a food basket to not only Indian subcontinent but to the larger population of the world.
Let me kind of dive into the cold chain sector in terms of what is happening around in the cold chain sector in the present times. As you are aware that we have been trying to propel the industry to new heights, and therefore when I came to NCCD and with my experience of around 25 years in the cold chain sector, what I understood was that we have a lot of cold storages, and we have been speaking about this at a lot of times. There needs a lot of integration of the present cold chain sector, and keeping in mind what is happening on the global platform, which is like how do we also propagate the idea of energy efficiency, new modern technologies, and simultaneously also look at the prospect of saving the food loss, and also mitigating the climate changes that are going to hamper the world as well as the Indian subcontinent. So there are a lot of things what NCCD is doing. I can keep on speaking for hours and hours, but to be specific, you can be specific about what we are doing, and I will be very happy to answer on those ideas, on those questions.
Yeah, I think before we go into many other thoughts that obviously NCCD is doing so many things, I don't think it is going to be possible for us to cover in a small episode, but sometimes numbers are very, very impressive. So do you really feel that there is a gap between the capacity that we have for storage, and especially in terms of at the farm gate level, because I think that's where the largest losses happen, and also in terms of when we are thinking of India being an exporter of food, do you think there are actually big losses and numbers short in terms of the infrastructure?
See, if you look at the perspective of number of cold storages, we have presently around 8,800, probably up to say 9,000 cold storages which are working in India. But how much are really working and how much are defunct, that will very surely come to know in very soon. That because we are now doing a census, what I have been already speaking at a lot of forums, that but this census is not only going to tell us the number of cold storages which has been primarily recorded in the previous conversations, but this time we're going to also come up with a mapping of the cold storages district wise, and also understand what is the kind of technology that is being used, what is the kind of energy input these cold storages have, and do we really have in terms of the production cycle and the consumption cycles, are we self-sufficient in number of cold storages we have in those areas, or there are certain areas where we need to add the capacity in terms of the cold storages. Now primarily, if you what you asked also, I would also like to put light on 2-3 aspects. Is that there is probably we are working we have been talking, and we have been kind of propagating that India needs a kind of a spoke and hub model, because we have cold storages at various levels, but obviously because the losses are happening at the primary side, that is at the farm gate, what you rightly said. So how do we kind of control those losses, and how do we also simultaneously improve the income of the farmers or the growers who are into this work or business and are investing a lot of money into the cold storages. So what we have done is now with the changes in the engineering guidelines and the minimum standards, which has been already released by MIDH. This is the new engineering guidelines and minimum standards, which has been done by NCCD with the help of ISRE also, because I think you were part of the the stakeholders meeting. So what we have now done is, I'll only focus on 2-3 points here because then it will take a lot of time. The book is obviously a large volume. So what we have now tried to do is, we have tried to kind of arrest the losses at the primary side first. That is, we have introduced new components at the primary side. We have introduced a farm gate cold room now, for the purpose of the farmers, growers who want to kind of store their produce for a period of 2-3 days time before they send it to the market, so that the losses are kind of reduced at that point. Then integrated pack house, we have modernized the integrated pack house also. The integrated pack house will now come up with a washing line, grading line, which was already there. But now what we have tried to do is, we have tried to incorporate 2 thermal or renewable energy based cold storages. We have given options to the applicants or to the stakeholders, and then simultaneously, when we look at the modernization, we have tried to incorporate dock levelers, BOPTs, HPTs into it. And also what we have tried to do is, we have tried to kind of give leverage to the farmer, that in case there is some amount of produce which he is not able to store at his farm, he can go to a nearest integrated pack house and store it there. And for the cross linkage, now the forward and the backward linkage is, we only talk of forward and the backward linkage. Now we are looking at cross linkage, which is, how do we get the rural India near to the urban centers, and how do we get the rest of the India into the rural side of the India. So we have a new component by the name collection aggregation center, which is twice the size of an integrated pack house. It has to be near the urban centers, near the highways, for the purpose of connectivity. And then you have all these components in it, and to kind of give a robust push to the supply chain, we have introduced small reefer vehicles, minimum 1 ton up to maximum 2 metric ton on these primary centers, which can kind of bridge the gap between the farms up to the integrated pack house and the collection aggregation center. And the collection aggregation center is going to have either 2 small vehicles and 1 9 metric ton vehicle, which can pull up the material from integrated pack house or from the farm gate, and then take it to the either to the collection center or directly to the market. So the option of the losses at the primary center we are trying to reduce, and simultaneously we are also trying to push the spoke and the hub model. So it kind of now integrates the whole chain. The purpose is to integrate it, and the components this time are not going to be standalone. If somebody is looking at to build a collection aggregation center, it has to have a dock level system, it has to have a modern system where the produce which is going to come, it has to be labeled in terms of name of the farmer, the place of the farm, what is the produce he is going to get. So we are giving special additional machines and additional component in terms of cost to these places also, so that we make it more modern. And sustainability is also very, very important. we have also tried to ensure that those refrigerants which have ODP levels, which are now not to be used, they are not being used, will not give any subsidy components on those gases, and those gases which are GWP higher than 1500 are also not part of the scheme now. So we're looking at energy efficiency, we're looking at carbon decarbonization, we're looking at climate mitigation and energy efficiency as the platform to the new developments that are going to happen in the cold chain sector.
Awesome. I think for my audience, I think what Mr. Fotedar has just said is a huge efforts that have probably gone in the last 2-3 years, and he's tried to summarize in like few minutes. But what I see is, if you really see the implications of what he said, and if you look at the number of farms and number of villages and number of people into agriculture, activity and their aggregation, I think where we started from, the forthcoming numbers in terms of capacity building is humongous. So that not only opens a very, very bright and possibility for people in the industry to kind of invest and to create infrastructure, but also the kind of value that we will save in terms of food loss and the nutritional value is humongous. Kudos to you, Asheesh, for the kind of efforts that you've done. I also see that NCCD is working not only in one vertical, there's like multiple verticals all together. So just briefly, can you tell us like what other major verticals NCCD is focusing on right now?
See, Asheesh, the bigger plan is to get the exports also going. The bigger plan is to bring investments into the India, and the bigger plan is to give opportunities to our farmers, growers, so that one is the losses are stopped, they get more value, income to their pockets, and also simultaneously create an infrastructure which is future ready, and kind of get it together onto a platform where you can easily access the happenings that is going in the cold chain sector. So what we are also trying to do is by kind of doing a census, what I spoke about in terms of what is going to happen in the cold chain sector. We are doing an energy transition program also. We also now with the engineering guidelines, this is a vast change. The cold storage, the distribution centers
absolutely
is also going to have a mega shift in terms of technology what we have done. And simultaneously we are also now looking to bring the multimodal realm into the whole development of the cold chain. So what we are trying to do by starting with this, we are also now most probably doing a study on the ports, onto the airports also very soon, and how we can connect these small centers through these roads into the ports, into the airports, and then also facilitate the movement of this horticulture produce maybe outside India, bring the export value to the whole agri value chain, and simultaneously also trying to set up this whole system on a digital platform.
So I remember in one of the discussions when we were talking about cold chain, and somebody said, actually what is cold chain? So I think what you just put is exactly what people like me understand is cold chain, is that from the moment it is produced and all the way till it's either exported or consumed or transported and shipped, the whole system is the chain, and that's why it's called the cold chain. And really impressive in terms of thoughts what NCCD is actually looking into all facets of them individually and then making a chain out of it. I think it's a great marriage that is you're planning to do for all these things. Just sometimes it also matters for us to have a pat on the back, but how does NCCD see the efforts of ISHRE, and how does it see REFCOLD as a exhibition and a conference area? How does you think we complement in this energies that NCCD is putting in this country?
I think I need not say it directly here, because I have been very vocal about this fact, and all the REFCOLDs, I think I have been present at all the REFCOLDs from the time I have been here, and it was with your efforts and the ISHRE team that we entered into an MOU with ISHRE, because I understand ISHRE has a larger role to play in today's context when we talk of the cold chain in India. Because one, ISHRE is a large organization per se with a lot of members throughout the country, 40,000, 25,000, 24,000. And secondly, honestly saying, it is more important to me be with ISHRE because
thank you
because as an NCCD perspective, because you see, once when I started kind of building this whole philosophy of integrating the cold chain or bringing in investments or getting into the next facet, which is the multimodal, or to reduce the post harvest losses. So it's very important that whatever government of India is doing in terms of spending so much of time, so much of money into the policies, how do we propagate these policies to the end? How is the beneficiary going to get hold of these policies? So I think ISHRE plays a very vital role here, and that is what I have been trying to do at all the forums, and I have been using ISHRE forums for all this, in terms of propagating the idea of what we are trying to do, and it has helped me a lot, honestly speaking, because then you also get an audience where people start to understand what government of India is doing and how serious we are in terms of looking when we talk of the cold chain sector. So I have a lot of respect for ISHRE in terms of what they have been doing, and in this guidelines what we have done, obviously ISHRE has been part of all the stakeholders meeting what we have done, and we also look forward to REFCOLD in terms of always presenting the technologies that are happening globally, that are happening in India. And we have taken a lot of cue, honestly speaking. I have taken a lot of cue from these from the REFCOLD, because I go to REFCOLD only to learn for what we can incorporate into this. And you will see, once this book is published, you will see there are a lot of things which have come from those forums and help me to kind of shorten the time period. Otherwise maybe I would have taken more time to, as NCCD, not me, as an NCCD as a group, and obviously with the support of the ministry, it would have taken us more time to kind of come actually what is happening, because we speak to so many people there, and we understand what is inside them, what they are looking at. So ISHRE is a wonderful platform. I thank you from the core of my heart, and REFCOLD is a wonderful exhibition in terms of presenting what is happening on the Indian cold chain perspective with reference to integrating with global standards and global perspective also.
Thank you. I think this is honestly a big pat on our back, and it also re-emphasizes our commitment to the Ministry of Agriculture. We really want to work hard with the government of India, with NCCD, in realizing the country's goal. Just before we close off, and obviously we are talking of when you are talking not only for food safety, but now you're also bringing the factor of energy conservation and decarbonization. Like, these are the next steps that we want to have in this industry. What would be your closing remarks in terms of the industry where it has to balance between the produce, its requirement in terms of humidity, temperature, its sensitivities towards opening and closing, CO2s and oxygen, and at the same time you want to have a very, very robust and energy efficient system. So just as a closing remark, where do you see the industry today and maybe going forward?
See, this is a very technical topic, Asheesh, but then I think we have conquered that thing now. What I understand, and what stakeholders understand, and what we have been going to forums and speaking to people and to stakeholders, we understand is that we are very near to what we want to achieve, but maybe we lack some kind of direction at some point of time. We diverge here and there. So what we have tried to do is we have tried to get a bit of direction in terms of where we want to reach in some years, and presently also. And honestly speaking, I think digitalization is the future, and we have tried to incorporate, once you go through the minimum standards, you will see that we have now mandatorily kind of introduced those components which are energy efficient, which are IoT based systems. There are systems where you have to put a unified building management systems in the cold storages.
Wow.
And you need, once you get on the digital platform of which NCCD is developing, you need to have a system where remote monitoring has to be given to anybody who wants to access that digital platform or use that digital platform for the purpose of utilization of the cold chain. There is going to be an Uberization of the trucks. You will see, you will kind of, want to see where the supply chain is moving, and we have incorporated a lot of, parameters into it, which is like fastest routes possible, and cost, what is going to be the cost of the truck, if somebody is trying to use it. And there are a lot of other things which we are trying to do, and we are, as as you have been, we have been trying to work together on a lot of things. And this REFCOLD also, we are going to support REFCOLD from the ministry also, and probably NCCD would very much love to, from our side, what we will do is we'll intend to send invitations to the other departments, other ministries also, for their participation in the REFCOLD in the government pavilion, which is, I think you planning to have a government pavilion. So we're going to showcase the overall technology scenario that is happening in India with a lot of companies around. I'm sure it's going to be a big impetus to government, as well as in terms of, they would have a, one stage shop where, they can have a look at all these things that is happening. And India is growing at a very rapid pace. That is what I understand sitting here. And most probably, in coming years, I think we will overcome the challenge of food loss, as well as be a huge supplier of food to the world.
Awesome. Thank you, Asheesh. It's been a wonderful, wonderful exchange of these last few minutes with you. And I go really inspired in the terms that, maybe REFCOLD will be one of those opportunities where, we bring the government to people, and then we bring people to the government, and also the technologies being the interface all together. I really thank you for, getting all other verticals of government to be, being a part and associate. It's been, it's like really a big responsibility, and I really hope and I promise that we at ISHRE will definitely live up to the ministry's expectation. Thank you for your time, and we really look forward to seeing you.
It was pleasure talking to you, Asheesh, and I look forward to more ISHRE interaction as it has been previously, and all the best for the REFCOLD.
Thank you.
My pleasure.